Paul isn't a leader. He's a spoiled, entitled jock. He's a beta male afraid to tell his wife and mother no. Stop calling Chris Paul a leader. He's not. We can quit comparing the Phoenix point guard to Isaiah Thomas. It's an insult to the Pistons' all-time great. We can move on from feeling sorry for Paul because David Stern blocked his trade to the Kobe Bryant-led Lakers in 2011. Kobe couldn't fix what's wrong with the perennial locker room cancer. Chris Paul is a problem disguised as a solution. We know that now after his latest postseason collapse. His NBA-leading 64-win Phoenix Suns exited the playoffs Sunday night in the most embarrassing fashion possible. The Dallas Mavericks routed Phoenix 123-90 in Game 7 of the Western Conference semifinals. Phoenix trailed by 30 at halftime, by 46 in the third quarter. Paul didn't make a bucket until the third quarter of an elimination game. I can't remember an alleged all-time great coming up much smaller in an elimination game, especially on a team that was favored to win the title. Phoenix led the series 2-0 before losing 4 of the last 5 games, marking the 5th time a Chris Paul-led team blew a 2-0 playoff advantage. It's a record-setting standard. Paul is the first NBA player to blow 5 different playoff series after leading 2-0. He broke his own record. He was the first to blow 4. I was once one of the people arguing that Paul is the modern-day Isaiah Thomas. I fell for his polished image and regular season act. I ignored Paul's numerous critics inside the NBA who swore that Paul's State Farm-crafted good guy image was fraudulent. CP2 blow is not Isaiah Thomas. Paul is Charlie Brown, the cartoon character who can't kick a football. The playoffs are Lucy, the girl who repeatedly clowns Charlie Brown by pulling the football at the last second. This Dallas series snapped me out of my Chris Paul fantasy. He's no leader. At age 37, in his 17th NBA season, he's one of the most immature players in the league. He symbolizes my discomfort with modern NBA players and culture. Both are filled with feminine energy and emotion. The NBA perfectly reflects the emasculation of black men and our cultural embrace of matriarchal leadership. As bad as Sunday's Game 7 was for Paul, he really exposed himself in Game 4. With his mother and wife seated directly behind the Suns bench, Paul fouled out in just 23 minutes of action. He scored just 5 points in a 10-point loss. Shortly after departing the game with his 6th foul, Paul erupted on a young Mavericks fan who tapped Paul's mother's back to get her attention. Paul's overreaction caused security to remove the fan from the arena. The Mavericks subsequently banned the fan from attending any more Dallas games this season. After the game, Chris Paul profanely complained that the fan laid hands on my mama. Video showed the young boy lightly tapping her shoulder. Paul said his mother and wife felt unsafe in the arena. It was later revealed the young fan jokingly offered Paul's mother a hug. Of course, corporate media and blue check Twitter defended Paul's irrational and emotional response. He's doing what black men are supposed to do, be irrational and emotional. He was defending and protecting his wife and mother. No, he wasn't. He was deflecting from his embarrassing performance. He was smearing a young white fan. He was summoning a social media lynch mob to punish a child for allegedly acting inappropriately toward his mother and wife. Chris Paul exhibited the kind of racist behavior and mindset that led to Emmett Till's death in 1955. Yes, I said it. Yes, I said it, and I don't care if it bothers you. A white man and white women completely exaggerated the behavior of Till and summoned a lynch mob and punished Till. That's what Chris Paul was doing. Again, did he want what happened to Emmett Till to happen to this young fan? No. But it's that mindset. It's the exact same racist mindset. I'm some protected person. I'm some elite. How dare someone treat my mother this way? I'm going to exaggerate their behavior and let loose on them the anger and animosity of my followers. The NBA and its players do not want to combat racism. The black players, from Chris Paul to Russell Westbrook to LeBron James, want to benefit from racism. They want to establish themselves as a protected class of people above others who do not look like them. Why would Chris Paul seat his mother and wife directly behind the Suns bench during a road playoff game? It's arguably the most hostile environment in professional sports. Opposing fans can directly communicate with the visiting team. Chris Paul knows this. But again, Paul isn't a leader. He's a spoiled, entitled jock. He's a beta male afraid to tell his wife and mother no. He's a believer in the matriarchy. Let me make another provocative analogy. Paul's thinking mirrors the mindset of Kenneth Walker, Breonna Taylor's boyfriend. Taylor was the young woman killed when police tried to serve a drug warrant at her apartment in Louisville. Claiming the police never identified themselves, Kenneth Walker fired his gun and shot a police officer. The police returned fire, killing Taylor. So let's take a beat here. Let's think this through. Walker claimed he believed intruders were trying to break into the apartment. He and Taylor arose from bed. He grabbed his gun. He and Taylor walked into the living room of the apartment to see who was at the door. Think this through. What man doesn't tell his woman, hey baby, fall back. Let me see what's happening here. Let me check this out. You fall back, you stay here in safety. I think there's trouble at the door. I got this. I'll let you know when it's good to come out. You know what kind of a man doesn't do that? A beta male, a believer in the matriarchy, someone devoid of masculine leadership qualities. What man places his woman in harm's way? Chris Paul is Kenneth Walker. Paul dropped his mother and wife into a fire. And when things got hot, Chris Paul melted down. We shouldn't be surprised. The NBA is filled with beta black males who are led by their emotions. They spend their free time getting their hair braided, placed in buns, and color-coded. When they're not at the beauty shop, they're walking down arena runways in whatever outfit their LGBTQ plus stylist instructed them to wear. The matriarchy rules black culture. You can see it in the NBA. You can see it in Chris Paul. Our leadership model is completely broken. Our highest level of accomplishment is victimhood. Paul achieved his goal in Game 4 when a little white kid tapped his mama's shoulder. Paul cast himself as a victim. The Suns followed his leadership.